Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Monday and the Blackwood chapter patch notes on the PTS have just dropped. And so we'll be taking a look at these throughout the entire week, most likely. Lots and lots of changes here. But in this video, I want to talk about some pretty powerful new sets that were added to the game, as well as mythic items. So let's jump right into it, starting with overland sets from the Blackwood zone. So these are going to be obtainable from things like the public dungeons, from world bosses, and delves. So we've got a light set here called Frostbite, which I really like this one. You get spell damage, spell critical, spell damage again, and then increases your damage done with frost abilities by 6%. It also increases your damage done against shield enemies by 4% and increases your damage done against enemies afflicted with minor brittle by 2%. So a total of 12% bonus damage for those sort of ice mage type builds, warden builds. This is looking pretty powerful. So I definitely will be picking up that one. Next, we got the medium armor set here, Deadlands Assassins, weapon damage, max stamina, another 5th-piece weapon damage bonus for 200. That's nice. And then for the 5-piece main bonus, dealing damage to an enemy within 10 meters of you with a heavy attack causes you to throw a cone of knives, dealing physical damage to enemies hit. If an enemy hit has 50% health or less, they will take additional bleed damage over 13 seconds, and this scales off your weapon or spell damage, whichever is higher. Now, there's no tooltip here, but they say it's because it's affected this patch by your weapon and spell damage. So that's something we'll be seeing throughout is things like proc sets, which this is. The tooltip is going to be based on weapon and spell damage if it's a damaging set. So the higher your damage, the more damage you get out of the proc. So keep that in mind for this new patch. And then the heavy overland set here, Bog Raider, maximum health, 2 max stamina bonuses, and when an enemy you've recently damaged dies, you gain 10 ultimate and increase your health recovery by 1156 for 10 seconds. This can occur once every 10 seconds. So this is pretty nice for health recovery builds. That's a lot of health recovery, plus the ultimate is nice too. Now we do have some pretty nice crafted sets here. Hist Whisper is the first one, so we get all of our recoveries, health, magicka, stamina, and then dealing damage with a light or medium attack heals you for 318 health and restores 318 stamina and magicka. So all of your resources back. Dealing damage with a fully charged heavy attack basically gives you double, so 636 health and stamina and magicka. So there you go. Heartland Conquer is another one. Weapon and spell damage, max magicka, max stamina, increases the effectiveness of your weapon traits by 100%. This does not affect intricate or ornate traits. So weapon traits only, not armor traits. But this is still pretty interesting. I really have some ideas for builds with this one. Shields are not affected as they use armor traits. Okay, so let me know in the comments what you think this would be useful for. Precise is what, 7%? Critical chance, now it's 14% if you have this set equipped. Or you could do maybe Sharpened for PvP or Nirnhoned for PvP. Some interesting possibilities there. Let me know what you think. Then the last crafted set is called Diamond's Victory. You get weapon and spell damage, critical chance, weapon and spell damage again. Dealing direct melee damage grants you range supremacy for 5 seconds, adding 437 weapon and spell damage to your damage over time and ranged attacks. Okay, so melee damage gives you damage over time and ranged attacks. Got it? Dealing direct range damage grants you melee supremacy for 5 seconds, adding 437 weapon and spell damage to your melee attacks. This set is also going through some design tweaks that will be implemented in the future PTS patch. Yeah, this is a little complicated. I'm not sure how they're pulling this off. What's the range, for example? Like, how far is the range? It doesn't say. But that could be a nice set for some PvP builds. I mean, it's not a ton of weapon damage. I could definitely see this being useful on a stamina build as using a bow and then maybe a 2H. Start with range for the bow and then gap close into melee range. I don't know. It's an interesting idea. And then the trial sets. Got the Mania set, which is our light armor set. Spell damage, minor slayer, spell critical, spell damage on the perfected version. Increases your damage done to non-player enemies by up to 15% based on your missing magicka. Very interesting damage set. We've got another light armor set here, Stone Talker's Oath. This is most likely healer set. So Magicka Recovery, Minor Aegis, Magicka Recovery, Max Magicka on the Perfected, and then your fully charged heavy attacks place a bomb on the target. After 10 seconds, the bomb explodes, restoring 5% of the damage received as stamina and magicka up to 2,240. 12 group members within 16-meter radius. Okay, so a sustained set there. Interesting. Got the medium armor Torment set. Weapon damage, Minor Slayer at all times, weapon critical again on Perfected. When an enemy you recently damaged dies, they leave a vengeful soul for 6 seconds, only one at a time, touching. This soul increases your weapon critical by 2,160 and critical damage by 12%. For 30 seconds, that's a long buff. That's pretty good. Finally, we got the heavy armor set. This adds max magicka, minor aegis, max stamina, more max stamina on the perfected version, and when you cast an ultimate ability, you and 11 other group members gain major force for 21 seconds, increasing your critical damage done by 20%. And this can occur every 30 seconds. So this is extremely powerful for group utility. Having that buff up for that long, 21 seconds with a 30-second cooldown. Obviously, this is the same buff as Warhorn, but this is going to allow you to extend that buff for a very long time if you coordinate with your group. That's pretty strong. All right, let's talk about Mythics next. The Mythics were a little unexpected. 4 new Mythic items this patch, and they all look extremely good. They haven't given up on Mythics, you guys. This is still a big part of the game. So, Gaze of Sithis is a heavy helmet. It adds 5,000 max health, 500 health recovery, 10,000 armor, but reduces your block mitigation to 0. So, block mitigation doesn't work, but you have all these nice extra stats. The health recovery, 10k armor. Wow. Pretty powerful, but then again, your block is not going to reduce incoming damage. So, makes you think how you could use that, right? Let's look at this next one. The Wading Kilt, medium legs. Dealing direct damage grants you a stack of Hunter's Focus for 1 minute with up to 10 stacks. You can only gain 1 stack per second. Each stack increases your critical chance by 119 and your critical damage by 2%. Taking direct damage removes 1 stack. Okay, so a stack mechanic that removes itself when you take damage. That's the first thing. But then look at all the stats you're going to get for this. 10 stacks and then critical damage 2% per stack. So that's 20% critical damage bonus. Man, that is huge. Plus the extra critical chance here. This looks good. Looks powerful, but you can't take damage. Otherwise, you're going to lose those stacks. Death Dealer Ring. Gain a persistent stack every 2 seconds when you're in combat, up to 10 stacks. Each stack increases your max stamina, health, and magicka by 150, and you lose a stack every 4 seconds you are out of combat. Okay, so you need to be in combat, 20 seconds to get the maximum amount of stacks. But then you'll get 1,500 stamina, health, and magicka. 1,500? I don't know. I don't know how useful that is, really. Cool mechanic, though, for sure. All right, and this is the one I was interested in, you guys. Shapeshifter's Chain Necklace. Reduces the cost of your transformation ultimate by 15%. And while transformed, increases your max health, stamina, and magicka. This is for Werewolf, Blood Scion, which is the Vampire Ultimate, and the Bone Goliath transformation. So pretty cool that a mythic now affects you when you're transformed. I actually really like this idea. Reduces the cost by 15%, which is quite nice, especially for things like Vampire and Bone Goliath. You'll be able to get those up quicker. But I don't know about this bonus. Is that even a typo? That's a pretty low bonus for a mythic, I think. I'd like to see that increased maybe a little bit. I don't know. The last thing we want to talk about is there are new monster masks. That's right, new monster sets, not for Blackwood, but actually for Imperial City. These masks are going to drop from those zone bosses in Imperial City, the ones that roam around. So we've got Zol the Ever Wakeful, maximum stamina 1 piece. When you break free, you release a wave of energy. causing enemies within 8 meters of you to become feared. You also gain 34 weapon and spell damage for each enemy hit, up to 6 enemies for 7 seconds. So 7 seconds, that is the cooldown for Break Free. So as long as you're getting CC'd, you can use this pretty much constantly. Pretty interesting. Immolator Char. This gives you armor, max health. When you take damage while below 50% health, gain immunity to immobilize as snares and crowd control effects for 10 seconds. This effect can occur every 40 seconds. Okay, so very tanky set there. Interesting. Long cooldown though, 40 seconds. And then the Destroyer set, maximum health. While in combat, each second you stand still grants you a stack of Fortress up to 10 stacks. Each stack increases your armor by 380 and your crit resist by 38. Each second you move removes a stack. Exiting combat removes all stacks. Using charge and teleport abilities does not remove stacks. Very interesting for, a permablock build, maybe just standing in place. So there you go. New item sets, new mythics, new monster sets. Quite a lot of strong sets coming out in this patch. Let me know in the comments down below which of these is your favorite. Which of these do you want to get right away for your build? I'd be interested in reading those. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to subscribe for many more videos this week as we talk about these PTS changes for the Blackwood chapter. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.